Hi, and welcome to Jay's Beer Review. A buddy of mine's been reviewing beer for quite some time now, and he's been dying to get me to do a review of my own. So finally, after a long anticipated wait, I've decided to finally do it, and here it is. Before I actually review the beer, I figured I'd take a few moments of your time to kind of go over exactly how I come up with how I rated the beer. In my opinion, I believe there's five key elements to determine what exactly rates the beer. The first element is appearance. Most may wonder, why exactly does the appearance of the beer really matter that much? Well, to be completely honest, it's not a huge factor, but it is a factor. It's no different than if you were to go to a restaurant and order some food and see it come out and say, wow, that looks great. Well, same thing with a beer. A beer should also look great to you. The second element when rating a beer is the aroma. When you go to someone's house and they're cooking some dinner for you and you go, wow, that's so good, that smells so good, I can almost taste it. Well, in a way, you are tasting it just by the smell. And a beer is no different as well. Beer should have a nice, good smell to it, almost that you can taste it when you smell it. And the better the smell, the better the rating gets on the beer. The third element when rating a beer is the most important element of all, and that's taste. You not only want to enjoy the taste of the beer, but you also want to be able to taste the ingredients that are listed on the beer. That's important. You know, they're telling you that this is what the beer should taste like. You should taste that, and it should taste good. If they say there's chocolate in it, you should taste it. If they say it's fruity, you should taste that. And it also should just overall just taste what you think that beer should taste like. The fourth element when rating a beer is how it goes down. I guess you would say how it is on the palate. Is it smooth? Is it velvety? Is it bitter, harsh, hoppy? All those type of things are important with your palate. And just because it's bitter doesn't mean it's bad, because maybe it is a bitter beer and it's supposed to be, and that's great. But you don't want a beer that's not supposed to be bitter, and so forth and so on. It shouldn't be tough to drink. It should, flow nice and easily. And the fifth element is just your overall impression with the beer. When you take into consideration everything, was that a good beer? And that should help determine what you rank your score. Now, a score can be anywhere from a 0 to a 5, with 0 being the worst and 5 being the best. Obviously, a 2.5 would be about an average beer, a 3.0 would be a good beer, a 3.5 would be a great beer, and anything over 4 is really an amazing beer. The next thing I want to talk about before I review a beer is the review itself. I'm not a professional. I don't pretend to be. I don't pretend to know any more than the next person. I'm simply doing this for the fun and love of the beer, and I hope that you'll enjoy the review just as much as I enjoy doing it for you. I certainly don't expect everybody to completely agree with my thoughts, and I am looking forward to your comments and feedback, and I welcome them, even if they aren't the exact agreement, even if they are disagreeing with me. The only thing I do ask is that any criticism is done in a constructive, educated way where we can have fun with it, and not in a harmful way or mean-spirited way. So, further ado, let's get reviewing. I'm going to start with a beer that I'm familiar with. I drank a lot. I highly respect. I figured it's a good way to start as my first formal beer or review, and I'm going to start with Young's Double Chocolate Stout. You hear that? That's music to my ears. The cascading nitrous cartridge they put into it. I'm going to use a Boddington tulip glass. This is a good glass to use for this type of beer. It gives enough room. Before I pour this, there's different types of pour methods. Some people tilt the glass, some people pour it on the center, and there's a few other ways. There's no real right or wrong reason. I personally prefer to pour down the center of the glass. The reason for that is I feel that when you tilt the glass, you tend to lose some of the flavor and you flatten the beer a little bit. When you pour it on the center, it gives it a nice thick head, and that's one of the important elements of a beer for me. So that's what I'll do with this. So it tends to take a little bit longer to pour a beer when you do pour down the center, but like I say, good things come to those who wait. Looks like I'm getting a nice good pour with this. Now you'll notice, unlike your average lager, you'll notice that the carbonation tends to fall. See if you can get a good picture of that, instead of rise. You may be familiar with this with like a Guinness. Guinness tends to do this. As far as body goes, if you can see, it's a nice dark color and slightly carbonated. The head's got a nice, it's a small head, but it's real thick, almost like chocolate milk, and brownish in color, like a mocha color. It's got a nice milk chocolate type of smell to it. And well, here we go. That's really, really good. Real creamy, real smooth, real velvety. First sip, you can instantly taste the chocolate. As it settles down a little bit, you get a coffee roasted taste, which is standard in a stout. You should get a nice roasty taste to a stout, but that's pretty good. I mean, it just smooth, how good it goes down. I mean, it's like drinking chocolate milk. You ever get like Nestle Quick as a kid, and you just shake up the little quart-size one, and you just open it up and drink right from the carton, and just that how smooth it goes down. I mean, this is pretty much similar to that. That's excellent. Well, I'm going to go ahead and drink some more of this, and I'll come back to you in just a few moments. Well, as you can see, I got a little bit beer left here, and you can see that the head is still right there. I mean, the head is about just as thick as how it started, so it doesn't lose any bit of that. And as far as I'm concerned, that's very important in a beer, that it can sustain that long. You can even see on the glass, you can even see some of the remains of sediments that sit there. I notice as you get further in the beer, you do slightly lose a little bit of the chocolatey taste, but it's still sweet throughout, and it even has a slight bittery kick at the end palate. But overall, I mean, this is a very enjoyable beer, and you can pretty much drink this anytime, except for maybe in a hot summer day. It's not a hot summer day kind of beer, but any other time it's just excellent. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Head right to the very end. And look, there's still a nice thick head right in it. I'm going to drink that too. So, anyway, my overall impression of that beer, when you think about a grading scale on 5 being the high, I'd say it's about a 4.6. It's about as good as a beer as you can get. I believe that there's no such thing as a true 5, or if there is, I haven't found it yet. I believe there's always room for something to be a little better, but based on that, 4.6 is about as high as you're going to get on any beer. And that's where I stand with this one. I challenge any beer to be any better than this. I mean, this is as good as it gets, and I would drink this anytime, any place, anywhere. But anyway, that about wraps up for my first ever beer review. I'm sorry this was a little long, but I did want to get a little instruction beforehand, or a little preamble, I guess you would say. And until next time, I'm Jay, and thanks for watching.